Hello there. It's so very nice to meet you. Welcome to the world of Pokémon. My name is Rowan. However, everyone just calls me the Pokémon Professor. Before I go any further, is this your first time adventure? If you need any advice, I'm certainly capable of giving it. This world is widely inhabited by creatures known as Pokémon. Here I have a Pokéball. Touch the bottom of the middle of the Pokéball, if you'd please. We humans live alongside Pokémon as friends. At times we play together, and at other times we work together. Some people use their Pokémon to battle and develop close bonds with them. What do? I conduct research so that we may learn more about Pokémon. Now, why don't we tell a little about yourself? Are you a boy or are you a girl? A boy, of course. Alright, so you're a boy. Yes. Tell me, what is your name? Your name is Kypro. Yes. Okay, so you're Kypro. A fine name, that is. Now this boy here, I believe he's your friend. What might his name be? What name can I give him? Just call him Barry. Barry, is it? That's your friend's name? Of course it is. It's Barry. Alright, keep Kypro. The time has come. Your very own tale of grand adventure is about to unfold. On your journey you will meet countless Pokémon and people. I'm sure that along the way you will discover many things, perhaps even something about yourself. Now go on, leap into the world of Pokémon. Okay, hey guys, how's it going? Capratonic. Sorry for the long introduction to this game, and this is Pokémon Platinum. Yeah, I was debating what Pokémon game to begin with on this. Because I did mention the other day that I would be doing another Pokemon game as a walkthrough. If people want to consider this as a let's play or a walkthrough, you can actually determine that yourself. I'll be playing through the entire main story. This game's particularly big, and yeah, it's actually the third installment to the Sinnoh region series. Originally there was Diamond and Pearl, but personally I actually do like Platinum above those two games because yeah, it's actually an advancement, and also a lot of new features were introduced into this game, and to be honest, yeah, a lot of things were just made better in this game overall. Here I'm actually just going to make the text speed a little bit quicker, because talking over sometimes the text is a bit slow, and I'm just going to change the frame to blue, because blue's a good colour. And yeah, oh, it's Barry already. There you are. Hey Kypro, did you just see the TV show you did? Yeah, what happened on the TV was just actually a bit of a dialogue. Sorry I didn't go over that. But more information probably towards that will be a little bit explained later on in the game. Barry's actually an unusual character, to be honest. I could actually always go through his dialogue and pretty much say what he's going to be, what he's saying. Barry's actually your main rival in this game. So he is actually also in Diamond and Pearl. And yeah, each of the Pokemon games, if you don't know this, actually has one main character that you choose from, which was either a boy or girl. Not in the original series, you could only choose between a boy and girl in the second generation, but you always actually had a rival in the game, and yeah, you do have a Wii and a bed in your bedroom, which is something what every gamer usually conducts to have. So going downstairs, you will meet your mom, and she probably wouldn't really tell you much useful information other than that you already knew that, Barry's just gonna leave. Barry is a really funny character in this game. He has his own unique personality. To be honest, I think he's one of the more cooler rivals that you will probably play throughout the Pokemon games if you haven't played all of them. This is actually Twinleaf time. This is the home state of the Sinnoh region where the starting trainer will start from. each region will have its own particular home region for where the starting trainer will begin its adventures. So yeah, this is Twinleaf Town. I'm just going to take a little explore around each of the houses. You don't have to do this. I usually just cover this sort of stuff just in case if people wanted to read the dialogue. Personally, I do it all the time whenever I play the games myself. And yeah, it's actually sometimes a good way to, I guess, understand sometimes the stories in the games. FUD. Wow. Barry just come flying out of that door then. Yeah, it's actually a good way to understand sometimes the stories in each of the Pokemon games, whether the information is useless or whether the information can be sometimes useful. So Barry, yeah, I think Barry forgets something at this point, and yeah, we're just going to go back into, this is actually Barry's house, and that's Barry's mum, or mom, whatever you want to call her. Are you looking for Barry? Yeah, he's actually pretty much upstairs. And yeah, I think he forgot something. I can't remember what he forgets. I think it might be his journal. Yeah, that's it. That's his journal. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually played through this game, so you have to bear with me. If I do make any mistakes throughout this entire Let's Play walkthrough, please bear with me. I am trying my best to make this a success as much as possible. And yeah, let's just go back outside because, you know, Twinleaf Town is where we need to be. Let's just quickly take a look inside this smaller house. This isn't really much useful like the other house was. You do have the two small houses, and you have your own house and Barry's house, and that's basically it. And you have like a couple of people on the outside of the houses. But like I said, Twinleaf Town is actually quite a small town. This guy actually does give you something a bit useful if you don't know where the hell you're going, which you should really know. You're only going north of here. You just need to go north, which is Route 201, and you'll probably bump straight into Barry. Too slow? Huh. Yeah, he thinks he's some sort of athlete all of a sudden, Barry, because, you know, he can just like run off and pretend he's a really cool kid. But in some ways he is, some ways he's not, but, you know, he pretends he's actually the coolest kid in the game. He does actually give you some important, which is apparently do not go into the grass, because you will bump into wild Pokemon, and if you don't have a Pokemon of your own, you will pretty much, I don't know, guess you'd be screwed. Okay, stick with me. Okay, here goes. On your marks. Hold it! Apparently this is where you need to hold it, because you can actually bump into the Professor, which is Professor Rowan. Each of the Pokemon games have their own Professor. Yeah, so Professor Rowan is actually the professor in the game. In the original series, it's Professor Oak. I think you also bump into Professor Oak. If I remember correctly, Professor Oak was in the second generation as well. But yeah, we don't need to really concentrate on the previous games. If I ever do a Let's Play of them, you will probably know more information about them. But yeah, Professor Rowan, in the anime, he had his like own distinguished voice. I can kind of do his anime voice, but I really don't want to attempt it just in case if it's actually a fail. And yeah, I don't really want to go through all this narration again if I'm gonna make like a cock up of it, because, you know, these videos actually are going to be quite lengthy, just because in the past of actually doing these Let's Plays, there were countless parts to each of the series that I did originally, and they took up a long time, so trying to do this in one take is sometimes a little bit hard. So yeah, I'm just not gonna pretend like I can do it. I know I can try it, but I'm not gonna do his voice just in case if I do it completely bad. Sometimes I may do like a voiceover of the dialogue on the screen. It's only just to add a little bit more of entertainment purposes to the narration. I hope you don't mind that. If you do mind that, please let me know. I don't mind doing it if people would rather not hear me try attempt to do like a voice. I think like purposely it does actually make the dialogue a little bit more better, just because, you know, you're only reading it from the screen. After this a little while, you will bump into the other character that you could have chose from the main title of the game, which is, her name is Dawn. In the series of the game, you can always pretty much decide to name her whatever you'd like. I could have chose her, I could have named her Kuiper as well, but, you know, I'm just going to be a boy because it's much easier. She was actually at a lake with the professor, and the professor actually forgot his briefcase. So let's, what's inside the briefcase, I wonder? Exactly what's in the briefcase is a choice of Pokemon that you can choose from. They actually are, in each of the generations of the video games of Pokemon, there are 3 starters to choose from. There's always going to be a fire choice, a water choice, or a grass choice. In the original couple of games, most of the starters only had one unique typing, but as you do advance throughout these games, each of the starters do get stronger, of course, and yeah, they actually do get dual types. So you have a Piplup, the penguin Pokemon. You either have the chimp Pokemon of Chimchar, or you can choose from the Twinleaf, or sorry, Tiny Leaf Pokemon of Turtwig. Yeah, we actually are in Twinleaf, so Tiny Leaf, that just caught me off guard there. For this, let's play a walkthrough, whichever you want to deceive as. I'm actually just going to go with Piplup, because Chimchar is probably the more favourable Pokemon to choose from, because its last evolution is probably the more stronger of the 3 lineup Pokemon. Personally, Piplup, or the last evolution, I won't go into it just yet, just in case I'm spoiling anything for anybody. It's kind of like a balance. It's got good natural bulk, and it's actually got good special attacking as well, so it's not a bad one. The Turtwig is kind of like, I'd probably say, the weaker of the 3, personally, just because it doesn't have the great speed. It's more like a defensive option, whereas the Chimchar is more of an offensive option. So you make your own decision. I can always leave some more information if people would like to know a little bit more of each of the starters. I can always do that, it's not a problem. And yeah, Barry also picked one of the Pokemon. That's based on what you picked, so the typing of your choice, Barry will pick the stronger of that. So because I chose Piplup, he's actually going to choose Turtwig. So usually when you do start off in a Pokemon game, you're going to choose your Pokemon, and then you're going to go straight into a rival battle. So like I said, this is a Piplup versus the Turtwig. Starting out at level 5 each of the Pokemon. I think, if I remember correctly, the Turtwig won't have any strong moves. It'll only have like Tackle or Pound. And the same can be said for either of the previous generations. It'll either get like Growl, Scratch, Pound, Tackle. In this case, actually, this Turtwig actually does get the Withdraw, which is actually an increase to its defense. It's not really going to do anything unless if it managed to get up like maybe 5 or 6 of these withdraws, then I guess it could start being a bit of annoyance. But yeah, just keep using your attacking move. Eventually you will knock out the opposition. And yeah, that's kind of really it. The first rival battle is never that hard. So you should never lose them, but if you do, don't panic. I mean, you actually are in the early stages of each of the game, so yeah, there you go, knock it out with a Pound, and there you go, you gain 67 experience points. I think, if I remember correctly, all 3 of the starters that Barry would normally choose based on what you chose will always give you 67. I could be wrong on that, but if I remember correctly, I'm sure it's something like that anyway. So it'd be at least, you'd be manageable to get up at least 1 level, so that's always a good start. Whew, let's go home. I'm beat after that battle. My Pokemon needs rest too. See you, Kypro. So Barry's actually going to make his way home. You're going to actually do like a little short of a cutscene, and you're going to be transferred straight back home, magically, I guess. And what's the matter, dear? Okay, so you're going to go into like a little conversation with your mum. You probably would have had a little conversation about you bumping into the professor. And yeah, that's really it. She does actually give you something useful, which is to tell you that the professor lives in Sandenjiang. I cannot even speak. The professor lives in a town called Sandenjiang, or something like that. It's Sangen or something like that. It's pronounced S-A-N-D-G-E-M, I think, like that. Sangen. Yeah, we're gonna call it Sangen because I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. And yeah, so your mum actually does give you something very useful, which is the running shoes, because walking in Pokemon games is usually very slow and boring. So the introduction of that was very good, because it allows you to explore the grass and each of the routes and towns much quicker. And yeah, that's actually always a great thing to get early stages. So making your way back up onto Route 201, you will bump into Barry once again. And you and Barry actually are going to go in a little trip, and you're going to actually go to a lake here, which is just to the west of Twinleaf Town, or on Route 201, and the lake is called Verity Lakefront, or Lake Verity ahead, which, you know, that's just basically saying it's ahead. So here we go, and inside here is actually a legendary Pokemon, the name of the legendary Pokemon will not be spelled at this time, just because it's pretty useful to know that you will be capturing a legendary Pokemon in this lake. So, making your way inside of the Lake Verity, you will bump into a very, very mysterious character. The flowing time, the expanding space. I will make it all mine one day. Cyrus is my name, remember it. So Cyrus, who is Cyrus? Well, I won't give too much information on who Cyrus is, but like I say, he's a very important character in this game. If not probably one of the most top 3 characters in the game that are very important throughout the story. Yeah, he's a very creepy character. Much different to Barry, of course. But yeah, that's really all I'm going to say about Cyrus. He's just a mysterious character. Hang on a sec. Did you hear that? Of course you did. You just actually heard the cry of the legendary Pokemon that roams in this lake. And that's its cry. And Barry gets really, really happy. And did you hear that, Cobra? That was a legendary Pokemon cry. That had to be it. Of course, if apparently he wants to try and go capture it. Although to his knowledge, he doesn't have Pokeballs. That was a bit silly on him. You know, Pokeballs. P-O-K-X-N-E balls. If we don't have those, we can't catch Pokemon or take them around with us. Well, of course not, Barry. That's the point. You need Pokeballs. Do you remember what the professor said? If we need anything, we go visit him. And that's what we're going to be doing. We need Pokeballs to capture Pokemon, which is something I'm going to go through in the next episode. Guys, this is a very long episode, so please take the time to like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. In the next episode, we'll be going to see the professor. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.